Thought about this afterwards. I should have started recording. So I'm going to make some fresh salsa. I'm just grilling a onion, tomato, jalapeno, and this pepper that I cannot remember the name of right now. Don't mind the dog food over here. I went to go fill the dog's bowl with food and spilled it on the floor, and I was like, well, no, you can have a buffet. So there's that. Anyway, so I'm just grilling these up. As you can see, they're starting to get a little charred. I'm going to do all sides. And then I'm going to skin a few other tomatoes, and I'm going to pulse all of this. Not blend, pulse. So, see how the skin's getting a little charred? That's what you want. It just gives it like an extra depth of flavor. It makes it very hard to pick up one-handed. Oh, what's that? So the reason why we want to pulse it and not blend it is because you're not trying to make like a puree. You want a little bit of chunkiness to it. You just want to get everything really incorporated well. I already have some roasted garlic, so that will be going in. And then whatever like spices and seasonings that you like. It's super easy. All right, I'm going to move this all to a bowl and be right back. Okay. Now I'm just taking the tops off of these tomatoes. I'm going to give them to my little chickie babies. And I'm going to take any, things that aren't nice. This one's pretty okay. So I'm just going to chunk it up like this. See, this one's kind of crappy. So we're just going to cut the bad parts off. These are fresh tomatoes. Anthony brought them over to me last night. And I have been wanting to make salsa. So here we go. I have to start eating better. I'm having some gastro issues that I'm being tested for. I'm praying it's not celiac, but we shall see. I don't like how this one looks right here. Chickens are going to be super excited. I'm going to grab a few more tomatoes. Once I'm done chunking these all up, I'm just going to put them into my blender. I try every year when I get my taxes to buy like a very useful kitchen tool. That is how I got my mixer, and that is how I got my super duper blender you're about to see in a few seconds. I will link it below so you guys can see what it is. It is a Ninja, and it's amazing. I can do everything with it, from making vanilla bean paste to making salsa. See, this one, I don't like how it looks right here, so I'm just going to cut that off. The chickens love when things are not good, because then that means they get them. But these are really nice tomatoes. I'm very grateful he brought these. This one's beautiful. So I'm going to grind it up and see what we have. So this is my little Ninja. They are pricey, but blenders, like I've learned the hard way. I feel like blenders, you really get what you pay for. When you don't spend the money, you get a crappy one, and usually it like burns out mid-use. It's a good time. So once I get these incorporated and pulsed, not blended, because we still want to have a little consistency. Okay, let's go over to the blender. Okay, so here is my fancy blender. I'm actually going to shut this recording off while I blend it because it's very, very loud. So here is all my options. I'm just going to go down to chop. So I just take it. Whoopsie. I'm going to turn it on, but then I'm going to shut my recording off because I don't want to kill your guys' ears. Okay, so I put all the stuff that was in the pan in the blender, and now I'm going to blend it. Okay, so we're gonna pulse it a little bit. See how we're not like making it soup? Because you want it to have a little bit of something to it. All right, that should be good. Let's take a peek, see. Don't mind my mini pony having a drink in the background. Now we have homemade salsa. It's so easy. I'm just going to put like salt, garlic powder, blah, 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 whatever you like to season it. I don't have any cilantro. Otherwise, I would put some. You can put whatever you want, but this is so easy. And now I'm just going to put it into jars, and some of it I'll give away. Connor's going to get some, but I'd rather do it this way than crappy store-bought. So I kind of started without you guys. I'm sorry. So in here is just 7 cups of very, very hot water and 4 cups of elderberries. And now I'm going to add cinnamon and ginger to it. And this is going to simmer on the stove for a few hours. I'm making elderberry syrup. Okay, so I have made reference to this before. I buy my herbs from a co-op, and I get my cinnamon sticks, especially for the low flab. This is the only cinnamon that I use. These get dried in the oven for 10 minutes, and then I grind them up, and that's how I make my cinnamon for like my cinnamon rolls, like my sourdough cinnamon rolls and everything. And then here's just a huge hunker of ginger that I'm going to peel off and put in the pot. So this is all going to simmer in with the elderberries. Okay, so the easiest way to do this is just take a spoon and kind of just peel it off. I mean, you can do it with a knife too, but then you lose a lot of it. I'm going to cut these little knobby pieces off in a second, but just so you can see how super easy it really is. It literally just peels back like paper. It's ridiculously easy to peel off. I don't go too crazy. Like, I'm not really too concerned because, again, it's going to boil or simmer. It's going to get up to a boil for sure, but, you know, I'm not really super concerned, like if I was adding this to a smoothie or something. But it kind of just peels right off like paper. Super easy. Oh, it's even taking these spots off. See, so I don't even need to get a knife. Perfect. And that's it. I'm just going to take this one piece off right here. I'm just going to throw it in the pot. Perfect. So now I have it in the pot. I threw in that piece of ginger and 3 large cinnamon sticks. I am super mindful of how I make this because I do have a child who is going to be using it as well. So I make it on the sweeter side. It's about 11:30 now. We have Girl Scouts at 2 o'clock. So I will let this go till 1:30, and I will check it. If I feel like it needs to go longer when we get back, I'll put it on. If not, I will let it cool. When it comes to like room temperature, I will add equal parts honey of whatever syrup amount that I have, because again, I do have a child using it, and I want it to be palatable. I don't want it to be disgusting for her to take it. Otherwise, it's going to be a fight. So I have my heat on medium. Once it comes to a boil, I will cover it and lower it to a simmer, and I will let it go. I will show you guys as we progress what it starts to look like. Okay, so now it has come up to somewhat of a boil. Just a little foggy, sorry. I'm just giving it a good mix. And then I'm just going to cover it and let her go. Cover is on, and she's going to do her thing. Elderberry syrup has so many great qualities. So it's much easier to drink than fire cider. Fire cider is very spicy, as the name says. It's fire cider, and a lot of people don't care for it. This is easy because it's got honey in it, so it's sweeter. It makes it easier to kind of take down, and it has so many great qualities in it, and the vitamin C content, all of that is great when you are under the weather. This is the bag of elderberries that I'm currently using. This was gifted to me by a friend, and actually last year. And I decided to use this since I have this here, but normally I don't. I will link below what elderberries that I normally get. I usually get them right off Amazon, honestly. It's super easy. I have Prime, so I don't have to worry about shipping, all that other good stuff. So for some reason, my audio disappeared. I don't know what happened. So here I am just stirring the mixture. That's what the elderberries look like now. They're just simmering in the pot. Now we are going to make fermented garlic in honey. So I'm just peeling all of the cloves of garlic. This is like the real project to do. It's a pain. These skins are like never ending. Those small pieces, like I just had in my hand, I don't bother with. I just do the bigger ones. It's a chore to begin with. And with the little ones, it just makes it more of a chore. I do cut the butts off of the garlic, and that usually helps peel the paper skin off. As you can see, it's a tedious job, but it's well worth it. So here I am now. I'm going to cut the butt off, and that's going to make the paper come off with it, and it makes it a little bit easier of a job. That one had 2 in it, and now I'm still just peeling the paper off of the garlic. I'm going to be doing this for quite a while, and I'm going to just make a small jar of fermented garlic. Fermented garlic is good for so many different things. So again, I do have a child who is using this. So I tend to try and make different kinds. So she is more enthusiastic about taking these types of things. So I will make a jar of just plain fermented garlic like this. And as the garlic sits and ferments more, the honey makes it sweet, and the garlic actually becomes very sweet. I use the honey in Bella's tea, and then Jared and I will actually eat the garlic when we are not feeling well. I will also do another jar later on with garlic, honey, and I will put lemon in it as well. And that is what I tend to use more for Bella. I will put the lemon in her tea, so it has like the goodness from the fermenting of the honey and the garlic, but it's not as crazy as eating a whole clove of garlic. And again, I'm just sitting here more and more peeling the garlic, trying to get enough to make a jar. That popped off the top of that garlic, just a little weird round garlic that was super weird. And here I'm just peeling more paper off the garlic. This garlic is the last clove that I do. It has a whole bunch of big cloves in it. So now here we are. I'm just putting the garlic in the jar. You can use whatever you have. You don't need anything special. That's just a mason jar that I have. This is honey from a local family farm. I try and buy local honey. They say using local honey helps your allergies and it helps you feel better. They say like if you are allergic to goldenrod, that you should use honey, take a spoonful a day of honey that has a lot of goldenrod in it and helps your body build up an immunity. So I'm going to fill this jar for the most part. I'm going to leave a headspace so this way any air bubbles can circulate. But I'm going to fill this jar, and then I'm also, a little camera fix. And then I'm going to use the rest of that jar in our elderberry syrup. So just putting some honey in. I'm going to let it sit for a second, and then it's going to settle, and I'll add some more. Local honey really is the best. I love it. I'm considering keeping my own bees, or learning how to keep my own bees, and then doing it next year. So if you can see, all the honey is settling. So these Tattler rings are reusable lids. They are plastic. So here I'm just going to take a regular mouth lid out, and I'm going to attach the plastic part to it, and then I'm going to put it on. And you can see all of that honey settled because the air came out, and I'm just going to throw some more in so you can see it better. So now that the honey has been refilled, I'm going to take the jar lid out and the rubber band. See how it's a very hard plastic, like very hard. And then it just has like a rubber ring, and it just fits around the lip. And now you just put that there, and you put the regular ring on it. It is a little bit thicker. the lid, and now it's just good to go. And I will continue to turn that jar over the next few weeks. Okay, so here, this is how I'm going to turn the jar. I'm going to turn it upside down like that to let all the air circulate. I'm going to try and flip it like every few days. So one day it'll be like that, then one day it'll be right side up. See how all the air bubble is coming up and everything is moving around? That's really what you want. So this way everything remains coated. And now flip it again. And as you can see, I'm probably trying to tell you that the air bubbles are circulating through and moving everything around. We are getting ready to leave for Girl Scouts, and I shut it off. When we get back, I will strain it and add the honey and show you how we bottle it. Okay, so now I'm back from Girl Scouts, and I'm just going to pour what is in the pot into the strainer. I have learned my lesson numerous times trying to do things the easy way. As much as I don't want to dirty another dish, I'm absolutely going to, because trying to get it from the pot into the jars is crazy, and I don't want to get burned. So I am going to pour it through the strainer and into the bowl, and then I'm going to use a ladle to get it to go into the jars. It smells so good. So good. So here I am trying to get all that good juice out, because that's the syrup part. And none of that goes to waste. We use what's left over, the mush, to give to our chickens. The chickens are lucky. They get everything. Apparently, I don't know what I'm doing. I keep walking back and forth. I'm going to smush everything out of those berries, so this way we get all the juice out of them. Just smushing everything around, letting it drain out. There's that big hunk of ginger. You can see how much it's changed colors from the elderberries. Word to the wise, do not wear good clothing while doing this. Elderberry syrup absolutely positively stains. So now that everything is pretty much smushed out of those berries, some people like to dehydrate them, and they keep them and they use them for other things. Like they will top dress certain things and they will use it as like spices or whatever the case may be. I'm not really going to go that crazy with it, but what I'm definitely going to do is take all that outside to the chickens. So now I am going to add a ton of honey. I know it's a lot, but again, I'm making this so my child will take this with no problems. If it was just Jared and I probably wouldn't have added as much. I probably still would have added a lot though. So now I'm just going to whisk it in. Be super careful. That stuff is super hot and you don't want it to come out of the bowl and burn you. And again, it will stain everything. But the honey mixes in very, very easily. So as you can see, it's actually like mixing in. It's getting easier to whisk it. And after this, we are then going to move it into jars. I think at this point, it's pretty well incorporated. Now, as far as jars go, so this jar that I'm trying to show you is just a large jar I've had for a long time, so I use it. You don't really need anything special. Don't make this a bigger expense than it has to be. You can really just use any jars that you have. Now I am just starting to ladle in the elderberry syrup into the jar. As you can see, I added 2 of the cinnamon sticks into the jar of elderberry syrup. And now I'm just carefully ladling this stuff into the funnel. These funnels for small mouthed jars are like a lifesaver. I got mine off Amazon. I think they sell them at Walmart. Any little funnel like it, to help not spill all over the place is worth its weight in gold. I highly, highly suggest it. Again, this is super hot and it's very sticky liquid, and I don't want anyone to get burned. So please be very mindful if you decide to do this, and remember that. I'm trying to make it so you guys can see. There you go. So now I'm just pouring more syrup into that. You know, if I trusted myself to get all of it in, I would just pour it straight from the jar, from the bowl rather. But I absolutely 100% know that that is not something I am capable of. As you can see, even with the ladle, I'm spilling it. I have a rag in between like the bowl protecting my wooden cutting board because this stuff stains. It's hot and it's messy. But it's worth its weight in gold, 100%. And if I can give my family something that is not from the store and I know exactly what is in it and how it was made, I'm about it. So there's always that. I guess all this stuff is worth the extra labor that is involved with it, in my opinion. Okay, so now we are finally getting to the top of a jar, and it's almost all full. As you can see, there's the cinnamon stick, and I'm almost to the top, just a little bit more, and I should be good. You want to make sure that you leave some room in there because you want to be able to shake it before you use it each time, because it is a natural product and it will have sediment in it. So now I'm just going to close it up and wash it off because it is super sticky. And then we are going to start the process of filling the smaller jar. Those smaller jars I use for when I make vanilla extract from vanilla beans, and I will link them. I got them off Amazon. They're super heavy duty. They're great. They aren't as fragile as the big ones that you can get like at your local Dollar Tree or whatnot. Just be mindful with the Dollar Tree ones that they are thinner glass, and I don't want anybody to hit it and break it, or it cracks or chips. You know, just be careful. Too bad my mic went out on this, because you could hear my little cat Lula in the background. She was talking to me and hanging out. So now I'm being daring and I'm just pouring the rest from the bowl into the jar, because after a while, like it's like, all right, enough is enough. I will probably actually give that to Connor, who unfortunately was there talking to you guys and you don't get to hear it. He and I will have to sit down and do a video. So now I'm just going to close this one up too, wash it off, and I'm going to let them cool, and then I will put them in the fridge. So unfortunately, I don't really know what happened. My audio cut out really, really bad, and I had recorded a whole last clip for you guys, and I was showing you like my fermented garlic, and we went over a few other things, but unfortunately, I don't know what happened. So I just wanted to say that the fermented garlic, I keep in a dark, cool place like the cabinet, and I just, every few days, I turn it one way or the other. So like if I have it on its head, I turn it to its butt, and then vice versa every 3-4 days. Wait about 4 to 6 weeks and it should be good to go. You will notice that the honey turns a darker color. Everything is absolutely fine. Don't think that anything has gone wrong. That's how it's supposed to be. And then as far as the elderberry syrup, I leave that in the fridge. Like, so once spring comes, we probably won't even have any left, but that would be when I would get rid of it. And again, make sure you shake it before you use it, because it does have a lot of sediment in it. And you want to make sure that you are mixing everything together. You can put less honey. You can put more honey. Some people put cloves in their batch, allspice, things like that, because that's what their palate likes. That's not what we like. I make it super sweet, so this way it is better than cough syrup, and I don't have to argue with my little mini person to take it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video today and hanging out with me on a Sunday afternoon, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!